take a look at short story. It's a short article about a real piece of trash. Michael Penis, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Republican, psycho, Christian fascist. Who's this? Look at this smug little shit. Who the fuck is this? Oh, I hate this guy. Oh, Senate Republican. Senate Republicans losing patience with Johnson. Ooh, uh-oh. There's some fighting among the girls there. Shameful. Johnson slammed for saying Congress won't cut recess to pass disaster relief. Because of course they won't. Why would they fucking... Come on. They're on vacation. Leave them alone. Okay. Although Republican House Speaker Michael Penis plans to visit the western part of North Carolina this week in the deadly and devastating aftermath of Hurricane Helene, I love how they think that like visiting does something. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna hand out some fucking water bottles that are already there? You fucking idiot. Take some pictures. Politico reports the GOP lawmaker has confirmed that Congress doesn't plan to provide any disaster aid before November. I love how these guys can just say this shit now without like getting a hurt colonel. If you know, you know. It's nuts. It's nuts. You couldn't get away with just saying that before, like 20, 30 years ago. Just like, we're not going to do anything. It would be like a media firestorm. Like, people used to be shamed out of office for shit. Johnson's trip to the Tar Heel State. Is that what it's called? What the fuck does that mean? Johnson's trip to the Tar Heel State comes amid Congress's nearly 5-week-long recess. What are they, Australian? This fucking... When's my 5-week recess? Absolute cocksuckers. Which several Democratic and Republican lawmakers are calling to cut short due to the need to pass additional disaster relief funding, according to Axios. Yeah. I mean, I guess they can't really do it. The ones calling for it can't really do anything, right? I mean, I guess the speaker has to be the one to call them back. However, Politico's Olivia Beavers reported via X early Sunday morning that Speaker Michael Penis will not be calling the House back early to vote on disaster aid supplemental in the wake of the hurricane. Beavers added, he tells me the cost of damages has to be tabulated before a supplemental is considered, and he argued they are a ways away from that. Why don't you, like, take a guess? What if you come back and you're like, man, it's got to be at least like $1 billion, right? You're supposed to give $9 billion to FEMA before the recess, so it's a little weird that you didn't do that, knowing this was coming. That's so insane. Like there are estimates, like there are always like pretty quick estimates when these things happen, and like. Is that a perfect number? No, probably not. But like, why don't you do like something? God, these people fucking suck. One ex-user pointed out that in his letter to Congress on disaster needs, published Friday, President Joe Biden wrote, most urgently, the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program will run out of funding in a matter of weeks. What is that all you're concerned? The fucking Small Business Administration's disaster loan program? What about the fucking People's Loan Program? You fucking bitch. Run out of funding in a matter of weeks and well before the Congress is planning to reconvene. I warned the Congress of this potential shortfall even before Hurricane Helene landed on American shores. He went around Congress more than once to send money to Israel, by the way. I requested more funding for SBA multiple times over the past several months. Oh, suddenly we follow all the rules. Oh, no, fuck. What are we going to... And most recently, my administration underscored that request as you prepared a continuing resolution to fund the government. That's probably where the 9 billion was for FEMA that they cut out of that bill and then added 8.7 billion for Israel. See how that works? See what happened? See how that goes? Now the need is even more urgent. Yeah, no shit, you fucking bitch. Send the National Guard. Axios notes that even right-wing lawmakers like Senator Rick Scott and Rep. Ralph Norman say they would support coming back to D.C. to pass supplemental relief for the hurricane relief assistance. Okay. I mean, that's nuts. Like, Rick Scott is a fucking psycho. Like, he doesn't, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess that, at some point, these guys, like, don't want to look bad, but, Mike Penis doesn't care. North Carolina Democratic congressional candidate Chuck Hubard responded to Beaver's report saying, "This is unacceptable and shameful. Republicans in Congress are failing Helene victims. Congress must act now to pass urgently needed disaster aid." Great. So nothing's going to happen. Okay. Oh, this is good. Washington Examiner. Look at this fucking crap. Okay. Now, here's the problem. Now, Mace introduces legislation to redirect FEMA funding from migrants to hurricane victims. The number I saw, and here, let me just pull this up. Jamie, pull that up. I'm my own Jamie. How do you like that, JRE? Okay. So, nope. Just go to my profile. Thank you very much. 9.3 thousand impressions on my post in the last 7 days. Is that a lot? I don't know. Might be a lot for me. Okay. I just saw something. Maybe it was on Facebook. I'm gonna pull this out for a second. Yeah, this thing about the migrant thing, it's bullshit. So if the amount I saw quoted here was true, that it's nothing, and it's obviously a false choice. So here, let's check this out. Let's check it out. All right. So don't look at my friends. Who cares? Okay. So, so the New York Post was the original tweet here. Feds say there's no money left to respond to hurricanes after FEMA used $640.9 million this year on migrants. Okay. It's an interesting thing to shove in there. This is like, I mean, that's a good chunk of money, but it's not that much for like our, for the U.S. government. Like that's not that much. It's, especially because, they were trying to pass a supplemental $9 billion for FEMA. Like this is, it's a fraction of it, but it's not that much. So this person, Fidel Cashflow, said this is fascist agitprop. It is, because they're intentionally grouping these two things together when it's a false choice, because it's about money being denied to hurricane victims when it supposedly this amount went to migrants. And the reality is, like, yeah, we can easily give that amount to migrants and spend whatever, couple billion, I don't know how much they'll need for relief. That's fucking easy for the government. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's just. So I explained here, Trump slashed the FEMA budget. Biden left it as he found it, and to his credit, like, he wrote that letter. Like, I think he was trying to get some money for it. I don't know if that's trying as like actually trying, or appearing to try, but he ultimately left it as he found it. Congress denied FEMA $9 billion right before sending $8.7 billion to Israel. Migrants ain't the problem, right? And, you could say I'm doing the same thing by being like, but they sent this to Israel. Now, first of all, it's the same amount of money. So if you want to talk about taking it from here and moving it here, that's the actual example of that. Again, the migrant thing is nothing compared to the budget they were trying to pass. And this is like, again, supplemental. I'm sure FEMA has a lot more than that usually. But yeah, if it's a matter of like use of resources and use of cash, which it's not, but if it is, this is the problem, the Israel fucking funding. Now, again, I think we'd probably be fine. Like the country would be fine if we sent $8.7 billion to Israel and sent $9 billion to the FEMA. I don't want them to send money to Israel, or an equivalent amount, like whatever it is. It's money to use to buy weapons, or it's weapons worth this, whatever the fuck it is. I don't want them to do that. But if this whole like, well, they put it here instead of here, like this is the example, but also no, it's a non-problem. It's just a matter of what they want to spend money on. That's it. All right, so let's see what this idiot says. Rep. Nancy Mace from South Carolina has introduced legislation that will redirect funds from a FEMA program for migrants to Hurricane Helene victims and ban other federal funds for the initiative. The bill is another Republican effort in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene to redirect government funds from immigration efforts to Hurricane Helene relief. See, and it's bullshit because it's just anti-migrant sentiment. They don't give a fuck about hurricane victims. They don't fucking care. Like, Republican governors ask for the money when their states are hit, usually, but they don't actually care. Like, they don't want to pass fucking funds, especially not new ones. That's why it's this. It's redirected from the fucking migrants. You don't give it to the migrants. Like, this is legal migrants. It is documented immigrants. The legislation, among other things, would terminate FEMA's shelter and services program. What is that? Let's look at that. I don't know if that's just like a migrant thing. Okay, maybe it is. So the Shelter and Services Program is a program that provides funds to non-federal entities that provide sheltering and other eligible services to non-citizen migrants who have been encountered by the Department of Homeland Security and released from custody while awaiting the outcome of their immigration proceedings. That seems fair to me. The program replaces the Emergency Food and Shelter Program humanitarian program. What? Program provides funds to state, local, tribal, and nonprofit organizations to support sheltering and other eligible activities, including facility improvements. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Seem like great. Like, these people are like, we want legal immigration. Like, this is what that looks like. You have to let people in. You have to, like, they probably do, like, some initial screening, like some vetting. But then, there's a court, there's like court proceedings they have to go through to approve a whether it's a work permit, a green card, a fucking a temporary status, or like what's the goddamn thing? Asylum claim, whatever it is, it has to go through a court process, and that's why like you know, having more immigration judges and you know, maybe more like public defenders who can help with these would be the way to actually handle an increased number of people coming over the border. But this is what it is. You know, these people came through like a legal point of entry. They encountered the Department of Homeland Security and said, "Hi, I would like to fucking be here. I request asylum. I want to move here. I want to relocate permanently, or I want to find work temporarily. Whatever the fuck it is." And then they say, "Okay, like, do you have ID? Where are you coming from? What's your, you know, why not work where you were? What problems made you come? Like, just they just have to vet them, and then while they're awaiting the outcome of their immigration proceedings, they have to live somewhere. They have to be able to just sustain themselves. So we have some money set aside for that. It's not a big deal. It's really not. This is how legal immigration happens. So now we can pretty firmly say, and especially once we see who, like, here we go. 9 Republicans co-sponsored the legislation, including Reps Byron Donalds, Corey Mills, whoever and whatever. So there, now we know, at least, you know, we can at least confirm that this list of Republicans is lying about, giving a shit about whether it's legal or illegal immigration. And it has to be legal. Like, okay, that's what they're doing. That's what this is. But if you think like America's poor because we spent $640 million, nothing, on assisting some migrants awaiting their legal immigration proceedings, then you don't want legal immigration. You just don't want immigration. And this is, you know, not where the Democrats are on this, but the Democrats are moving towards this position. Like, Biden Biden and Harris have moved to the right with their rhetoric. The Democrats tried to pass a Republican bill, immigration bill, through Congress that was, you know, more or less, roughly, like, effectively the same as Trump's 2020 immigration policy. And they acted like, oh, it was just a little trick. It was a little switcheroo we did on Republicans, you see. And now we've caught them in their hypocrisy. Ha! And no, they just are right wing on immigration now. I don't know if they changed their minds or they just decided, like, I think we can win this way, or just immigrants coming across the southern border, not the northern, or the ports, the seaboards, are scary, or not scary, like worth throwing under the bus. It's like, well, we can eat the loss of a certain chunk of Latino votes. We'll just, fuck it. Make it up in the suburbs, right? Chuck Schumer bullshit. Jesus. Okay. Kamala Harris and Alejandro Mayorkas have turned FEMA into. I love this. It's so funny that, like, their talking points, they just had to, like, take Biden's name out and insert Kamala's because they just were planning to run against Biden, but now they just say Kamala as if she's the president, and it's like, bro, like, I don't think she made a lot of these decisions. I know she was like border czar or something, but like I don't think that really went like that. Nothing much came of that. I don't know if she is even officially that anymore. But anyway, it's funny. Kamala Harris and Mayorkas have turned FEMA into a migrant resettlement agency. Again, you want legal immigration, this is how it works. It's time to end this mess. Our bill will make sure funds meant for disaster relief are utilized when they are needed most. Actual disaster relief. Then don't fucking treat immigrants coming over the southern border as a fucking disaster. And then get mad when disaster relief is used on it. It's the Federal Emergency Management Agency, right? Let's not get it fucked up. FEMA. Federal Emergency Management Agency. I was fucking right. I'm smart. So but if you're like the border emergency, why aren't we doing it like that? It's like, okay, well, here's the Federal Emergency Management Agency here to manage the fucking emergency. And they're like, no, not like that. FEMA allocated $640 million towards its shelter and services program aimed at assisting migrants, but the funds are separate from its disaster relief funds. Ah, interesting. So who was right? Who was right? Who was fucking right about this? It's just a matter of not funding disaster relief. That's the problem. So she just is. This is just a bill aimed at closing this program, ending this program, shelter and services program. It's extra money. Former President Donald Trump recently suggested the government stole FEMA money to give to illegal immigrants. It is separate money. They stole the FEMA. He literally cut the FEMA money. Trump. Donald H. fucking Trump. Cut the fucking money. They stole it FEMA, just like they stole it from a bank. So they give it to the illegal immigrants. So by illegal immigrants now, we just mean immigrants. We are against immigrants. That's the direction we're heading. The Republicans, for damn sure, are already there. The Democrats are chasing them, as usual, as they have for the past 15 fucking years. Tailing them, I should say. Like they're going the same way. They're just a little further back. FEMA has said the claim is false. No money is being diverted from disaster response needs. FEMA's disaster response efforts and individual assistance is funded through the Disaster Relief Fund, which is a dedicated fund for disaster efforts, FEMA said in a post. Disaster Relief Fund money has not been diverted to other non-disaster related efforts. And FEMA has also said, please give us money for the Disaster Relief Fund. we need money for disaster relief, which shelter and services money is not. The Washington Examiner contacted Mace's and Boebert's offices to ask for further comment on the legislation, but did not receive a response. Great. The bill has been referred to House Education Workforce Committee, blah, 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 blah. The session of Congress being held so close to the election is unlikely to be voted on before a new Congress is appointed. Great. Great. I love that it's a new Congress. That's technically what it is every 2 years, right? The House is a new Congress, and it's 80% the same. All these fucking assholes